FTX's plan has officially been approved. The headlines are basically that creditors will be receiving at least 118% of their claim value in cash. So not in crypto, not in USDC. But I feel like people are not keeping in mind that claims were valued on the petition date in November 2022 when Bitcoin was worth around $16,000. So basically, FTX creditors are not able to participate in the rebound of crypto prices since that date.
To some degree.
Unless they want to just go right back into the market or sell their claims and
the 119 that they're getting as a base case. Anyway, shall I summarize what happened?
Yes.
I've had a couple drinks, since then. So the confirmation hearing was somewhat uneventful. There were some very big pieces. There's some pieces that really disappointed me. I think we should clear up the misconceptions first. The next important date is the plan effective date. Basically, the debtors have 90 days to announce a plan effectiveness date.
So we still don't know the date that the plan goes effective.
No.
And then from my understanding, they have to pay out at least the first round of payments 60 days after the plan effective date?
Correct.
Okay.
And so, 90 days from today basically is like January, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, around early January, yeah.
Yeah, both of us are kind of retarded.
So stupid.
That means payments could begin as early as January. It would be the earliest possible imaginable scenario, and as late as 60 days from January 7th, which would be March. Is that right?
Sure. God, I'm stupid. I think that's March.
You have no excuse.
I'm just not the brightest bulb, okay? Earliest January 2025, latest March-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so early next year. So I mean,
class.
for the convenience class, so for creditors with under $50,000 in their account on petition date prices. But I guess this refutes, the rumor going on. People were spreading rumors that payouts had already begun in September. And obviously, a lot of people were saying at least by late 2024. But it looks like now it will not be late 2024. So 2025.
It'll be 2025.
Okay, so early 2025, you can expect payout.
I'm hoping. There were basically a few really important pieces in the hearing and a few kind of sad ones, funny sad ones, like a Korean creditor logged on and filed a complaint clearly without a lawyer about his FTT being zero. And he got fucking Sullivan and Cromwell slammed and he's zero, which I feel somewhat bad for him. The other group that got body slammed was Celsius. Celsius wanted to hold up the plan, saying FTX has to put to the side at least $400 million to distribute to us because we should deserve a customer claim in Celsius. Mm-hmm. So not only did Celsius say they deserved a customer claim of $400 million in FTX, but they also said, and people who withdrew money in the 90-day preference period in Celsius and put it on FTX should not repay those customers. It should repay Celsius. And the judge was having none of it. If the judge had been like, yeah, okay, fine, the initial payout for above 50K would have been much lower on the first payout. And overall, minus 400 million is a lot of money. And it would have delayed the whole thing a lot. And the judge was having none of it. And essentially body slammed Celsius into submission. And Celsius was left reeling on the floor.
Well, Celsius tried. They shot their shot. So for creditors who had under $50,000 in their account, they should expect the full amount in the first payment or less than that?
Full amount in the first payment. I'm very disappointed with the outcome of the U.S. Trustees Objection, which was centered around smaller creditors. In my opinion, the whole exculpations, essentially saying that we won't sue Sullivan and Cromwell, etc., I don't think that's important.
Okay.
I don't think that's important. I think what's important is how much money and when. That's what fucking matters. Even if you get to sue the bankruptcy people, that doesn't actually give you money. You care about money and time. Mm-hmm. And the U.S. trustee had put in an objection saying that the convenience class was being treated unfairly because they were only getting 119% when non-convenience was getting substantially more money. And, it seemed unfair purely on the basis that they had smaller claims. And I agree with that. It feels to me like listening to that hearing that the U.S. trustee kind of gave up on that and was fully committed and focused on the third-party releases, which have like a lot of theoretical and intellectual merit, but fucking zero practical merit for like 99% of the population who just want more money and faster, right? Like that's what we care about.
Yeah.
And I also think that that's where the Seil Group in general like stumbled a little bit, is that they cared too much about that stuff as opposed to how much money and when. Anyway, to me, in my opinion, big W for FTX v Celsius, and somewhat a big L for convenience class holders who could have seen some commitment from FTX for like maybe some more money, etc. I got none of that shit. All we got was an exculpations theoretical debate that like, you know, will satisfy lawyers, but not creditors in the end. There were a lot of appeals towards the customer property rights, and that was litigated again and again and again. The problem is the FTX debtors played this perfectly, and the people who were trying to guard customer property rights, aka people who had crypto on FTX, who felt like they're getting shortchanged, played it wrong. Essentially, the debtors were like, well, we've already sold the crypto, so like what are we going to do about this?
They're not going to rebuy crypto at today's prices, so it's sort of like a losing battle.
And so really what that group should have done is formed an ad hoc crypto holders group. Like it's obviously easy for me to say with 2020 hindsight, but they should have done that, and then they should have banded together and said, hey, we should get some compensation for our losses. They haven't. And in the end, the judge was like, well, what do you want me to do? You're not going to buy crypto now. Like that's just inconvenient. So I'm just going to approve the plan.
Yeah.
And so the plan was approved in the end with like not really much of a fuss.
So no more objections can come through now. The plan is solidified. And so for creditors moving forward, I guess we can do two things, like what creditors in the convenience class under $50,000 should expect and what those with larger claims should expect.
I think everybody from this hearing, everybody needs to lower their expectations around getting paid stablecoins. Like, I think that's probably not going to happen. Under oath.
Is that still undecided, or is it clear now that it's going to be cash?
To me, it's clear that it's going to be cash, but they're like leaving it open that it's not going to be cash. But we're October 7 today. They're like supposed to, at the latest, be distributing March 7. They probably want to communicate and aim to do that earlier. I don't know. I work in business. I work in this field. If you haven't gotten a signed agreement today on how you're going to do things in February or March, it's not going to happen.
I would agree with that. If they were going to pay in USDC, then there should already be a distribution partner. I did see some people tweeting about there being discussion of a potential distribution partner, but probably won't amount to anything, I assume.
Ed Mosley from the Debtors Council at what's it called, Alvarez and Marsal, was under oath and asked by David Adler, who is Seil's lawyer, whether stablecoins were going to be an option. He was like very non-committal and said under oath that there was no LOI or term sheet signed, but there had been conversations with at least 4 parties. That suggests to me that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you can interpret the evidence differently.
So from your assumption, then, does it sound like it would be checks in the mail? Did they mention like bank deposits or wire transfers or anything?
Well, I'm guessing it'll be a mix of wire transfers and checks in the mail. Like a large proportion of FTX creditors are overseas and will not be able to receive wire transfers easily in US dollars, and so will receive checks.
Even cashing a USD check, though, in a foreign country sounds like it might be a pain in the ass.
And like, it's kind of your fault in the debtor's view, not their problem. And they're going to be like, well, we asked you for your bank details. We tried to make you the wire. We couldn't do it. And I think a lot of people are going to be very frustrated and are going to be wanting to sell their claims. And for some people, it'll be too late. Like a lot of people in the convenience class are not going to be able to cash their check and are going to be very pissed.
I mean, obviously, you are a claims buyer at ftxcreditor.com. And so if you have a strong preference for wanting USDC immediately paid out to you rather than waiting for a check in the mail, which you may have difficulty cashing at a foreign bank, then an option is that you can sell your claim. FTX Creditor is only currently buying claims over $25,000. But yeah, I'll leave links down below in the description box, etc.
Hey, it's me, Tiff. And in case you've never heard of me before, I've been independently covering fraud and bankruptcies in the crypto space. Because of this, I know a lot of people who follow me or might recognize me were once customers of FTX. Well, that's where FTX Creditor comes in. FTX Creditor will buy your FTX bankruptcy claim and pay you immediately in in USDC. FTX Creditor has actually bought more FTX claims than all of the other claims buyers combined. FTX Creditor even buys small claims as low as $1,800, all the way up to claims as large as $10 million. So if you're interested in selling your FTX claim for immediate liquidity, or in selling your Voyager, BlockFi, or Celsius stub, you can go to ftxcreditor.com or contact them on Telegram at @FTXCreditor or on X at @FTXCreditor_com.
But I guess now it's just a waiting game and there's still not clarity on how exactly you're going to get paid out. But it looks like early 2025. And for creditors who have claims over $50,000, you mentioned that they're not going to receive the full amount that they're going to get in one payment. They should expect multiple payments, correct?
Multiple payments. My guess, when the Celsius stuff is completely done, we'll have clarity on the first payout. My guess is if Celsius is completely cleared out, it'll be 100% recovery on the first payout.
But no more than 100%?
I don't
On the
think
first
so. And their incentive is to not pay out that much. The more they pay out, the harder it is for them to justify their fees.
Right. So they want to retain as much of the money as possible in order
That
to pay out
generates fees.
to lawyers. Fucking lawyers. How much are the lawyers making, by the way, after all
In
of this?
total, from plan effective date, they're going to make $448 million.
I thought it was going to be over $1 billion.
They've already made $1 billion. They're getting an
Okay.
extra 448 million.
Oh, good. So it'll be close to $1.5 billion. Yay.
Yeah.
The lawyers are the real winners here, and we are all
100%.
just mere pawns
100%.
getting screwed.
Yes.
Is there anything else we should cover about this? I guess, I mean, it is a pain in the ass for customers with over 50K in their accounts because, I mean, like, if you move addresses, etc., I assume that's going to be a difficult process if you need, if you're getting checks in the mail.
My incredibly biased advice is to go get a quote now for selling your claim. Incredibly biased. The reason I say that is I have a Celsius claim that I've still not managed to get paid out. And Celsius went effective and payments started going out in January.
Yeah.
So it's been 10 months. I've still not got my money.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like you have no one to complain to. Like you
Right.
just write them emails into the void and you know, what are you going to do about it?
Basically, it sounds like you're going to deal with a lot of uncertainty about payments, how much you're going to get in the first payment, how much you're going to get after that, how, like, when these payments will come, and even how you're going to get paid. So if you don't want to deal with that uncertainty, then selling your claim is a great option. I'm not going to
It's my
convince you
personal
to.
opinion. Obviously, I'm providing a service to, like, you know, I'm biased because I can see that this is a huge problem, and then I've created a company just purely around like, hey, this is such a fucking ball ache that you might as well centralize this.
I think that selling your claim definitely at various points throughout this would be a very good idea if you just reinvested back into the market. If you got USDC straight from FTX Creditor and had reinvested early on, and if you think Bitcoin and prices are still going to keep going up, then
In
still a good
Bitcoin
option.
terms, we lost money on all the claims that we bought in Celsius. Like
you're
we
winning
should have just bought Bitcoin. It was the same level of risk. We would have been better off just
You
buying.
could have just bought a bunch of Bitcoin.
Exactly, and done none of the work and gone on fucking holiday. Sometimes like, what did I
No,
do?
but you wouldn't have timed your sells properly, so maybe you wouldn't win in the
No,
end.
just buy and hold.
That's true. That's true.
We were buying Celsius when Bitcoin was at 17, 20K.
Well, now you have something on your resume, Lou, for the next bankruptcy that arises.
I can get a job.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not telling you to sell your claim, but I'm presenting it as an option. And to be clear, FTX Creditor has been supporting my coverage of the bankruptcy and going over to Caroline Ellison's trial.
Sentencing, which was pretty interesting. I followed that pretty
sentencing.
closely. Well, I'm kind of curious what Gary is going to get. Nishad should probably get 2x what Caroline got.
Caroline got, you think? I think Nishad was an FTX, or he worked at Alameda and FTX much sooner than Caroline did, so he was involved earlier on, but he wasn't the CEO of Alameda. So, I mean, she did have
I guess Caroline was also responsible for all the money losses.
Yeah. And I mean, you could make an argument for why Gary Wong should get more because he was the one who actually wrote the code that allowed all of these special privileges to Alameda. So, I mean, I'm curious to see what these people will get because there are arguments you can make both ways.
Gary's quite cute, though.
He's adorable. Not hot, but adorable. He's just
Like
a shy little muffin.
cute little Asian guy who's you don't want to see him in a cell with P. Diddy.
I would actually love to see Gary Wong with P. Diddy. That just sounds like a buddy cop comedy.
Dude, fucking, do you know that Sam and P. Diddy share a lawyer?
Yes. They just hired the same lawyer. P. Diddy just hired Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyer. So they must be getting along quite well in jail.
I'm sure. Didn't Sam do like weird orgies in the Bahamas as well?
No, I need to make a video on that. He didn't do orgies in the Bahamas, but he said that most of the FTX sort of inner circle was previously polyamorous in their prior relationships, but during FTX, when they were all living in that Bahamas penthouse, that they were all coupled up. But he says there were no orgies. If you want to believe what Sam says, but I do believe that. I think that they're all just fucking nerds. When I asked Sam what he thought polyamory was, he was just like, "Well, when you're dating one person, but you're also dating another person," and I was like, "So you're just dating? That's just dating." That's what I do when I'm dating. I date more than one person, and then you get into a relationship. And
Yeah, but Tiffany, you have options. I don't know how many options Sam had.
Sam was a billionaire. I'm sure he had some options.
That adds options. Guys, it's very late for me, and I've
Louise,
just
have a good
flown
one.
in from California, so I'm fucking
Okay.
exhausted to go to bed.
Love ya. We'll talk soon. Bye, Lou.